This episode of FuelSpillTV rolled in on Liberty Tires, the official tire of the American Stock Car Championship. Welcome back to FuelSpillTV, your gas and go racing show. I'm Charlie, the intern, back from Daytona Beach, Florida, to bring you the ASCC Championship race. Finally, after a long season of hard racing, hard luck, hard hits, and hard punches, 4 drivers have entered Daytona with an equal chance at the ASCC title. Donnie King Jr. of the SAR division was only expected to compete for the ASCC East Series Championship for Team SAR USA's junior team, but he was called up to the All-American Series after Jason Richardson lost his ride right when the playoffs began, and officials gave him approval to take his playoff spot. This was an extremely controversial decision made to appease sponsors and Peter Keys, but King shook off the pressure and promptly won 2 races at Hickory and Talladega. Not only that, but he claimed the East Series Championship the night before. Donnie King Jr. is only making his 8th series start tonight, but he's shown that maybe he'd be in this position anyway if he had run the full season. While Indiana's Alex Carson had a hand in Lenard's near monopoly on victory lane in the first half of the season, it was his Flair Motorsports teammate Joshua Pacer and fellow rookie Lenard's stablemate Stefan Wlodarczyk setting the world on fire. But Carson kept his head down and got to work, and now he's here in the championship race for the second time in his career, and his Lenard division rivals are not. It's safe to say that Alex Carson is at the peak of his career after over a decade in stock car racing's top ranks. Palmer Styles has carried the flag for the exiting Inglesby this season, with 2 victories at Remembrance Field in Texas and the dirt race in Knoxville. But the former TM Master Cup Series veteran might not have been in championship position tonight had it not been for some very convenient contact with Alex Carson at Texas World, which took out his Inglesby rival Johnson Clapp in the 69 for McDermott Motorsports. He had been struggling in the last round of the playoffs before that incident, but hey, if you had to pick between the goodwill of the fans and a chance at the championship, I think it's a very easy decision for most of us to make. Palmer Styles is going for his first ASCC championship as a driver, but second as an owner. Mike Whitmore won the first championship under the current format for his team in 2015. Fourth and finally, Seth Anderson has no idea how he got here. Seth Anderson, the other driver from Indiana in this championship 4, has been in the series since 2012 and is in his 2nd year as an owner driver. He has never won a race and barely squeaked his way into the playoffs. But he stayed quiet and finished races while his Inglesby rivals were falling apart around him. I remember one thing that perennial FARC underdog John Burr loves to tell people: you stick around in this sport long enough and eventually you will have a good day. Seth Anderson's good day certainly came when he won the wildcard spot at Texas World. Could he have another one? Either way, the team that budgets to finish in the lower midfield is coming away with the biggest payout they've ever seen. Those are the 4 drivers going for the championship tonight, but they will be sharing the track with 29 other drivers who have nothing to go for but the victory here at Daytona. Let's go to the highlights. Joshua Pacer is, of course, not in championship contention tonight, but he's had an absolutely amazing rookie season. He captured his 6th win at Texas World last week, and he's hoping to grab number 7 from his 5th pole tonight. Alex Carson and Donnie King Jr. have the best starting spots of anybody in the championship for tonight as they share row number 3. Palmer Styles and Seth Anderson didn't fare so well. Starting in the midfield danger zone, Palmer Styles 16th and Anderson, the biggest long shot in series history, starting in 21st. Pace car peels off the track, leaving the field in the hands of Joshua Pacer and fellow rookie Jim Hayes. And there's the green flag for the final time. It's a clean start heading through turn number 1. The field remains mostly 2x2. The inside line is a bit better packed together. Brett Finley in the 32 dove to the inside, but here comes the 77. Not as many cars on the high line, but the 77 of Jim Hayes is getting a big push from the 37. He's closing up, neck and neck with the 9. Stefan Wlodarczyk steps out of the line, but Donnie King Jr. makes contact with the 37. Both of them are into the wall. A 20-car pileup in Turn 4 has just swept up all 4 championship contenders. Seth Anderson sitting upside down on the apron. Donnie King Jr. and Alex Carson are not going anywhere, but here comes Palmer Styles to the line. He flipped that 21 car over, but he's the only one to complete the first lap. As they say, you can't win the race on the first lap, but here in the ASCC, with the winner-take-all format we've got, you sure can win the championship that way. And Palmer Styles might have done just that, but that car is trashed. Every one of the championship contenders is trashed. My goodness, we have so much to unpack here as the field gets gathered up behind the pace car. Stefan Wlodarczyk stepped out of line going into Turn 3, and Donnie King Jr. just got into the back of him, turned him into the inside line, and set this whole thing off. I think he wasn't sure what to do with the 37. Once he pushed up going into the corner, he had the 68 right on his tail. Wlodarczyk goes up to the outside, and Donnie King Jr., I'm not sure if he was going to try to make it 3 wide or stay in line, but either way, it was a complete disaster from there. Let's go on board with Alex Carson, who's just minding his own business, trying to push the 13 and the 9, his teammate ahead of him, and he's just going to get blindsided by the 37 going up into the wall. He saw about 5 more cars that were really lucky to escape that before the track got completely blocked. And then the 2 Inglesbys of Styles and Anderson just got pushed over. Palmer Styles saw the wreck happening in front of him, did a good job getting on the brakes, but either got that car loose or he was shoved back into the 32, and he was just along for the ride at that point. There's Anderson sitting upside down, but Palmer Styles limps that thing away. Cars passing him left and right, but it's not gonna matter as he gets that thing to the line. This is potentially the championship winning move right here, just getting back on the gas and recovering. There's no way he's gonna make any more laps in that car. He's pulling into the pits along with most of the field. Everybody but Joshua Pacer's gonna pit here, either because of damage or because of concerns that they ran over debris. Apparently, Pacer's not very concerned about that. But Palmer Styles is gonna pull the thing up behind the wall and start celebrating with his crew. But wait a minute. Seth Anderson's got the 51 car rolled back over and towed to the pits, and he's peeling out. Is he coming back onto the track? Oh my god, Seth Anderson is going to steal this championship as long as that car hangs on for another lap. That was a very soft roll that Seth Anderson ended up having. He came away with not nearly as much damage as we first thought. Palmer Styles and his crew is looking on in shock. Styles jumped back into his mangled 21 car, but it would not crank. Seth Anderson will stay on track to clinch the ASCC All-American Series Championship. Seth Anderson has never won a race. He's never had any major sponsorship on that car all season. He never dreamed of being in this position. The fans can say he got lucky. He got lucky to make it into this race. He got lucky to come away from that wreck. But sometimes all you need is a little luck. And Seth Anderson absolutely capitalized in the best way. Meanwhile, we still have a race to settle. Anderson's going to be well off the pace. He's going to be laps down, but he's staying on track to squeeze as much extra prize money out of this as he can. Joshua Pacer continues to lead. Colton Spencer was in second place, but he had a mechanical problem under that caution, and he's going to be laps down. Unfortunate for him. 26 of the 33 starters are still on the track, a surprisingly high number for how big that accident was. The top 2 break away, but they're soon going to be joined by 2012 Texas 500 winner Bill Calhoun. Calhoun's making a statement in the opening laps and hoping to end the season on a high note for the first-year Big American Racing team owned by Brett Garland. They've unfortunately failed to finish over half the races, but when they have finished, they've usually finished well. Calhoun has 6 top 10 finishes with this 31 car coming into tonight's race. Behind the leaders, Dan Richards has gone up in smoke. He missed out on the Final Four after that crash in Texas World, and despite not winning a race, he led the SAR division points for most of the year. But the 2012 Series champion is not even going to make 10 laps tonight. Back up front, Johnson Clapp makes a move on Joshua Pacer for the lead with a bit of help from Carl Hampton, who's joined him on the inside. Jim Hayes in the 77, the other Team Thunder car still in this race, has joined the fight as Bill Calhoun has fallen back and is struggling to stay with the leaders. Hayes is doing a really good job of pushing the 9 car and keeping him in the lead on the outside. Coming down the backstretch on lap 12 here, Joshua Pacer is going to clear the 69 and keep the lead, but he's going to leave the 77 out to drive. Thanks for the help, buddy. I'll see you around someday. Further back in the second group of cars, Porterhouse is going to get into the back of Paul Sherman in the 88 and take Brett Finley into the wall with them. Porterhouse was in front of the big one, did not get any damage. I guess he was feeling left out, and that brings out our second caution. Brake problems are going to take Joshua Pacer out of contention. He was getting slowed down and almost smashed into the back of the pace car under caution. The team's got the car jacked up, they're working on it, but he's going to miss the restart and fall 3 laps down. Meanwhile, Tim Woodard has taken over the lead after taking fuel only on the last round of pit stops. He was in the middle of the big one, but did not take any damage, and that's one of the few good things that's happened to him this year. Woodard and his business partner Barry Spangler were very excited coming into this season after landing major sponsorship, but their results have been absolutely horrible as they've only been running at the finish 5 times and have only 2 10th place finishes as their best result. Going on board with Bobby Miller III. Further back in the pack, the 2 Extends cars get together. Paul Sherman almost getting wiped out by his teammate Richie Pinto and giving Bobby Miller a scare. Jim Hayes has a big run on Tim Woodard around the outside coming down the backstretch. Could be that Woodard's car is better in the draft than running up front. That isn't a thing they do very often, to be fair. Porterhouse running behind the 30 of Richie Pinto seems to make it his mission to take out as many of the Expansion Motorsports cars as he can. Paul Sherman into the back of the spinning 30 car. Richie Pinto's going to keep going with that damage he has, as well as Cam Barnes, who also got a small piece of that. Jim Hayes continues to lead after the restart. The lapped car of Colton Spencer still tucked up behind him. Greg Gray, Daniel Voiles, and Austin Sanders have gotten up into this lead group after some pit lane shuffling, but Johnson Clapp has no trouble getting around the 78 and leaving him behind. Johnson Clapp's now coming after Jim Hayes for the race lead. Johnson Clapp and the McDermott team are seeing red tonight after Palmer Styles took them out of a championship spot late in the race at Texas World last week. He seems to have a very strong car right now. He and Jim Hayes appear to have the strongest cars, although he did qualify outside the top 10 and had to sneak through the big one. But here comes Carl Hampton with a push from the lapped car of Joshua Pacer. Austin Sanders joining them on the inside, and Carl Hampton's going to go to the lead. Daniel Voiles in that blank black 82 car with green trim has come back into the fight. The young entrepreneur from Oklahoma is getting himself some good TV time right now as Johnson Clapp falls back. Austin Sanders now takes the lead from Carl Hampton. The team he started the season with folded before the playoffs began, but Expansion Motorsports came to the rescue, bought up the charter, and fielded a 3rd car for him. Same case with Paul Sherman. But so far, Austin Sanders has done a good job surviving the crazy opening laps, and he's going to get some time up front. That is the lapped car of Joshua Pacer right in front of him. Some contact between Aaron Law and Tim Woodard. I'm not sure what was going on there, but he almost took the 25 right into the wall. Aaron Law and Carl Hampton both got scratched up a bit in the lap 1 big one, but Aaron Law has taken a bit more time to get back up to the front. Team Star USA can't win the championship, but their drivers are running 1-2 right now. Here's our champion, Seth Anderson, going a lap down, holding up the inside as Carl Hampton goes by to keep the lead. Here comes Aaron Law. Not the best decision to come up on the inside like that. Seth Anderson is holding all these guys up as he lets Carl Hampton get away. Oh, there's some smoke coming out of turn 4, but no yellow. Some more fun and games between the Expansion Motorsports car as Peter Johnson gets into the back of his teammate Richie Pinto and sends him around. This was right on the front stretch, right in front of everybody. I'm not sure why they didn't throw the yellow for this. I guess they're tired of throwing yellows for the Expansion Motorsports cars spinning. They're doing that every 2 laps, it seems, so we may as well keep the race going. The battle for the lead is now free of lapped cars once again. Johnson Clapp coming back up to the front with a push from Tim Woodard. Yeah, that car is certainly better in traffic than running up front, but Carl Hampton's going to hang on with a big push from the 77 of Jim Hayes. But Hayes falls back, and Johnson Clapp gets a line formed up behind him, and Carl Hampton's going to be a sitting duck as Johnson Clapp goes to the lead once again. But the Super Speedway shuffle is never ending as Jim Hayes finds his way to the front once again with more lap traffic on the way. We're working lap 52 now, just past halfway, and this is the longest green flag run of the race so far. The caution clock is about to expire. After Joshua Pacer absolutely ran away with the race in Michigan, the series instituted a rule that says if the race goes green for 20 minutes, the caution flies and the leader at the time gets a bonus point. The bonus doesn't really matter with the championship having been decided on lap 1, but Jim Hayes would like to hang on to the lead through all this lap traffic just the same. But here come the Team Star USA cars to make it 3 wide for the lead as a crash nearly breaks out in front of them between the lapped cars of Colton Spencer and Ryan Long. And they're going to hold up 2 of the 3 lanes. Jim Hayes, almost had an opening up top, but Ryan Long comes up to block him. And there goes Aaron Law. He's got an opening on the bottom. The yellow lights start flashing. The caution clock has expired. Here comes Johnson Clapp. He's going to follow Aaron Law on the inside as we come up on our champion, Seth Anderson, once again. No one knows where the 51's going to be going. I don't think the 51 knows where he's going, but he's going to hold up the middle and top and let Johnson Clapp through to the lead. And Johnson Clapp's going to remain unchallenged off the final corner. He's going to take the caution clock first, and Joshua Pacer stays in front of the leaders to get one of his laps back. But there's a spin after the flag. Elmer Farley goes around after contact with the 37 of Stefan Wlodarczyk. And Farley's going to just nick the inside wall there. Farley's coming down on the 37 after the flag for some reason and spins across his nose. Whoever the 0 has on the tower is not paying much attention, but Wlodarczyk could have backed out of that and not let it happen. Meanwhile, we had an incident coming back to the flag. Brett Finley and Daniel Voiles go around. Voiles made that big charge to the front earlier. That's unfortunate for him to have this incident, but luckily they're going to get away with that without too much damage. After another round of pit stops, Team Star USA gets Aaron Law back to the lead for the restart. Johnson Clapp behind him. But here comes Jim Hayes making it 3 wide on Clapp and Sanders to take second place. Jim Hayes is a rookie in ASCC this year, but he's 42 years old and he's been racing for a long time. He got a handful of victories in the Farklow Dollar Series in 2013 and 2014 for former ASCC champion Tom Delgado's team. He moved up to the TM ranks after that, but wasn't too successful, so he moved over to ASCC for Team Thunder's new operation in this series. He already has 2 victories, and he's trying to make it a 3rd tonight as he duels for the lead with Aaron Law. Law got out ahead for just a few moments before the inside line came back. Jim Hayes comes up to cover the top, but that's a mistake. Here comes Johnson Clapp with a push from the 22 to get back to the lead. Johnson Clapp from Ohio is in his 2nd year in the series, driving for J.D. McDermott's team. Both he and the team have yet to win a race in the series, but Johnson Clapp has had success in the FARC ranks, winning races for Dave Hetzel, Ken Groves, and M&J Racing. But right now he's facing a challenge on the inside from Tim Woodard with a push from Austin Sanders. But it would not be successful as Johnson Clapp goes back to the lead. 3 wide for 2nd place. Tim Woodard gets a bump from Austin Sanders. Aaron Law goes into the wall, and so does Brett Finley in a separate incident. Heartbreak for Aaron Law as he comes to rest on the apron. Brett Finley caught up in another one. Going on board with Joshua Pacer now, still running 2 laps down. Austin Sanders gets into the back of the 22. And Woodard shoots back across Josh Pacer's nose. Pacer lucky to get through that one. It's a race between Jim Hayes and Johnson Clapp coming back to the caution. Jim Hayes gets a run around him on the inside. Clapp doesn't put up much of a fight. Aaron Law will return to the track, out of contention, running a lap down with a damaged 25 car. Team Star USA's woes continue, but they still have Carl Hampton in the fight. Austin Sanders falls multiple laps down after the restart with brake problems, just like Josh Pacer earlier in the race. That's a shame for the young rookie out of Texas, but Expansion Motorsports now has Peter Johnson joining the fight at the front. He did have the incident with his teammate Richie Pinto earlier in the race, but Pinto doesn't seem to be holding it against him as the field puts him another lap down. Austin Sanders also going a lap down, and Austin Sanders going to be a good teammate here as he blocks the rest of the field, lets Peter Johnson go, and try to get up there to challenge Jim Hayes for the lead. Strength in numbers is the name of the game over at Expansion Motorsports. But Johnson falls back. Johnson Clapp gets behind the 07 and gives him a push past the 44, getting himself into second place now. But there's contact behind him. Colton Spencer goes into the wall. Tim Woodard is around. Ryan Long, Carl Hampton, Bill Calhoun, and Peter Johnson are all involved, and that's going to put us under the caution for the 6th time tonight. It started with Bill Calhoun getting into the back of Peter Johnson coming out of turn 4. That sent the 13 around and the 22 spinning towards the inside. Quite a few contenders are coming away from this with damage they really did not need. And here comes Carl Hampton with what looks like a pretty big shot to the 13. And Stefan Wlodarczyk got a piece of that too. Peter Johnson would unfortunately drop out of the race after coming up towards the front in the latter half. Everybody in that wreck, plus Johnson Clapp, who was not involved, would come into the pits, which really shuffles the top 5. Jim Hayes stays up front, but right now it's Angus Black in second place for the What's Your Beef team, and Bobby Miller III moves up into third place. And some contact from the 13 is going to put Stefan Wlodarczyk and Bill Calhoun up into the wall once again. That's yet another caution. Just a few laps into this run, Stefan Wlodarczyk would drop out of the race. That was a big hit he took into the wall. But the pace car peels off for hopefully the final time. And it looks like it's going to be between Jim Hayes and Johnson Clapp for the victory here. Johnson Clapp made it back to second, coming back to the yellow. He and Jim Hayes get away, and he quickly gets an opening on the inside, clearing those lapped cars and finding the opportunity. That was a great launch for the 69, but here comes Jim Hayes with the crossover going into turn 3. These are the only 2 cars that haven't had something bad happen to them all night, and keeping it clean has given them a clear advantage. They've driven away from the rest of the field. But it looks like right now Johnson Clapp is content to bide his time and stay tucked up behind the 77. Whenever he's fallen back, he's had no problem driving his car right to the front again. But there goes Clapp just a few laps later as the rest of the leaders start to close in on them, led by Tim Woodard with a push from the lapped car of Aaron Law, who's still fast but out of contention. Carl Hampton rides in 4th behind his teammate. Jim Hayes falls back to 4th as we go on board with Carl Hampton. Up to 3rd, Tim Woodard 2nd, as Johnson Clapp continues to lead this race. The top 3 right now have never won a race in the ASCC All-American Series. Tim Woodard slips up to the high side going into 1. There goes Carl Hampton making the move for 2nd. But here comes Jim Hayes with the push from the 07. They're going to blow right by the 49. Aaron Law's going to go with them. These lapped cars have had no problem mixing it up with the leaders all night, both helping and hurting. What's Jim Hayes going to do from right behind the 69 as we take 4 laps to go now? No pressure from behind. He's got 2 lapped cars in between himself and 3rd place, but there he goes, peeking low into turn 1. Johnson Clapp can't defend. Here comes Jim Hayes with a big run to the inside. Johnson Clapp, no help on the high side, but Clapp looks like he's going to tuck in behind 77. No, he's lost a lot of momentum. He's got the 07 to the inside of him now. Carl Hampton pushing him. Now Hampton making the move to the high side, trying to get around the lapped car, but oh, that's a mistake. He's losing a ton of ground. Johnson Clapp clears Austin Sanders and gets back into the fight. 3 laps to go now, but we got a slow car right ahead. It's Elmer Farley in the 0. The 1979 Texas 500 winner could interfere with the finish here. Clapp and Hayes both hesitate, but Farley lets the 69 go. Johnson Clapp goes back to the lead, and Hayes is losing so much ground. Tim Woodard comes back up to 2nd. He's going to be overtaken by Carl Hampton, but it's not going to be enough. Johnson Clapp comes off the final corner. Clear sailing to the checkered flag. Johnson Clapp and McDermott Motorsports are first-time ASCC winners at Daytona. Johnson Clapp's victory and Seth Anderson's championship will make it a perfect sweep for Inglesby in their final night of competition. Speaking of Seth Anderson, he's going to come across the line in 16th, 3 laps down, but it will be one of the biggest celebrations of a mediocre finish in racing history. The top 10 finishers were the only 10 cars to finish on the lead lap. Johnson Clapp leads a trio of rookies at the finish. Jim Hayes coming home third. Has got to be absolutely fuming at Elmer Farley right now, while Johnson Clapp owes his fellow Inglesby stablemate a thank you card and a bottle of something nice. Tim Woodard, Porter House, Angus Black, and Bobby Miller all had their best finishes of the season tonight. It was definitely a race of survival. Lance Stone, Bill Calhoun, and Greg Gray round out the top 10. And now for the final point standings. Seth Anderson, what more can we say about this Cinderella story? The owner-driver who's been running midfield his entire career is walking away with over $1 million in prize money and a free charter for next season, wherever he ends up, because Inglesby, again, is not coming back. As for Palmer Styles, Alex Carson, and Donnie King Jr., his championship rivals, they leave Daytona with wrecked race cars, wondering what could have been. Donnie King Jr.'s Rookie of the Year, so there's a good consolation prize for him. The next rookie in line, Joshua Pacer, is the first driver out of the playoffs. A staggering 6 victories for him in his first year with Flair Motorsports, but no chance at the championship. Dan Richards was the model of consistency in the SAR division. He led those points with no wins all year long, but still came up short. Stefan Włodarczyk with Ocean Motorsports was another rookie with an amazing season, 4 victories of his own, but the second half of the season was not kind to him, and he absolutely fell apart in the second round of the playoffs. Jim Hayes, the veteran driver but ASCC rookie, finishes 8th with 2 victories in his first year with Team Thunder. And then rounding out the top 10 for Team SAR USA are Texas 500 winner Aaron Law and Carl Hampton. And there's the checkered flag on this season of racing. I can't wait to come back next year and bring you more action from ASCC, FARC, and anywhere else that'll give us media access. But until then, you've been watching FuelSpillTV. I'm Charlie the Intern. I will always be Charlie the Intern. And stay safe out there. I know this whole G-Virus nonsense has been sweeping the nation. Let's hope that it really is just a rash.